With the end of version Luna 2, we've finally banished Rachel of Salnari. The whole Nod Krai seems to be embracing a peaceful new era. But in fact, for a lot of travelers that don't really know about Teyvat history, there are lots of questions to be answered in Nod Krai. For example, why do the Frostmoon Scions believe in Moon Goddess when everywhere else on Teyvat is ruled by the Archons? Why does the Fatui want to rule over Nod Krai so bad? And most importantly, why is Nod Krai the heaven for adventurers? To answer these questions, we need to look deeper into the history of Nod Krai. In fact, there's a very deep reason why Hoyo didn't take us to Snezhnaya after Natlan, and put us in Nod Krai instead. Because the whole story of Teyvat, the story of humanity fighting against its fate, basically started in Nod Krai. In this video, we are exploring the scattered texts hidden in corners of the game, and see the story of Nod Krai's past. At the beginning, Teyvat was but a ball of phlogiston. Its magnificent lights radiates in the universe, attracting a voyager from another world. The voyager came from a highly developed civilization. They can put their body into cryosleep, so their souls can leave the body and travel among the stars. When the voyager came to Teyvat, she found in surprise that there are already life in this primordial planet. The elemental dragon king born in the sea of phlogiston, Nibalang. However, the Voyager has foreseen that the future this beautiful planet is shrouded in lightless fate. So they reached out to Nibalang, hoping he could leave the planet and join their voyage. Nibalang turned down their invitation. He believes that fates are not set in stone, and he hopes that his planet can fight against the fated destruction. Reluctantly, the Voyager eventually left Teyvat alone, but her arrival has already planted a seed of destruction and defial in the world of Teyvat. As time passed, the elemental dragon king Nibalang divided the primordial elemental power into 7 parts, establishing the old rule of the 7. The 7 dragon sovereigns each ruled over one of Teyvat's 7 domains, inheriting a portion of Nibalang's power. Nibalang also excavated 3 spheres from a land brimming with vitality, lifting them into the heavens to form 3 moons orbiting Teyvat. These 3 moons all have their own consciousness, and are later known as the 3 Moon Goddess. Later, Nibalang departed Teyvat in search of the Voyager, entrusting the 3 moons to watch over the planet in his stead. Soon after, another outworlder visited Teyvat, the Heavenly Principle, also known as Fans. They took over the authority of Nibalang, defeated the 7 dragon sovereigns, and took over the 3 moons. From this moment on, Teyvat turned from a world of dragons into a world of humans. Fans created the humanity and divided their power into 5. Reason is controlled by themselves, and 4 of their shades controls life, death, time, and space respectively. The shades then proceeded to create angels, who has the instinct to love humans, putting them in charge of building connections between humanity and the shades. Soon, civilizations of humanity sprouted all around Teyvat, including the one at the northernmost of Teyvat, the Golden City north of Snezhnaya, Hyperborea. As human civilization evolved under the guidance of the Heavenly Principle, the Voyager returned to Teyvat, only to find Nibalang long gone from the realm, and the world of Teyvat taken over by an outworld usurper. Seeing this, the Voyager decided to vest her consciousness in the body of a young boy, trying to learn about this new world in deep. One day, the boy traveled to Hyperborea when the priest here just provoked an angel. Having secured the necessities of life, humanity now sought the wisdom to touch the heavens, a thing that the Heavenly Principle will never allow, and would even enrage the humanity-loving first angel. But the one that's even more enraged was the boy possessed by the Voyager. He asked the first angel, "If you really love these humans, why won't you grant them advanced wisdom? Why imprison them in the cage of fate, robbing them their freedom to venture into the universe?" The first angel was shocked by the arrival of the boy and ashamed by the questions. She never thought of disobeying the orders of Heavenly Principle. Yes, she loves humanity. She's willing to sacrifice everything they have for humanity's development. But she have indeed stripped the freedom of humanity to reach heaven. Eventually, the first angel was moved by the boy, deciding to bestow all her love for humanity to the boy alone. Together, these two brought more advanced wisdom, even ones that goes against the rules of Heavenly Principle, to those who yearn to reach for the sky. Later, under the witness of the three moons, the first angel and the boy were wed, promising humanity a better future filled with freedom that will lead them to the stars. With this, Hyperborea embraced a golden age. The boy and the angel made a plan for the development of humanity, the Seed of Life project. Although human is the main species of Teyvat, it's also an exotic species brought by the heavenly principle. Therefore, humans cannot control the elemental power of Teyvat, which means they don't have the power to control the fate of the planet. To enable humanity to directly control Teyvat's elemental power, scientists in Hyperborea started to use gene modification technology, raising humans' affinity towards elemental powers in Teyvat. For new humans that were genetically modified and can control elements in some extent, the color of their blood will turn from red to silver. However, the good days didn't last long. 30 days after the boy and the first angel were wed, Heavenly Principle found out about their transgressions, creating new lives without permission, tainting the pureness of human bloodline, and peeking into the forbidden knowledge of the heaven. These three sins enraged Heavenly Principle. They casted down celestial nails, bombarding Hyperborea into ruins. Almost all genetically edited Hyperborean people were unable to escape death, and the angels who broke their rules were cursed by Heavenly Principle. From then on, if angel has a love for human in their heart, they'll gradually lose their form and mind, devolving into transparent, childish Seelies. With that, the city of Hyperborea is destroyed. But in the shadows beyond Heavenly Principle's gaze, some Hyperboreans were able to survive the celestial nails. They were to be frozen, starved, and devoured by beasts and monsters on the barren snowland. But the Frostmoon was too kind to see these life perish. So she paved a path with moonlight, showing them a way out. Following the guidance of moonlight, the survivors came to a land named Nod Krai. Here, they rebuilt their houses, abandoned their old lifestyles filled with technology, and started to explore the way to live in harmony with nature. They built their own religion that admires the Frost Moon, and called themselves the Frostmoon Scions. Occasionally, some of them will show a powerful affinity to elements, being able to channel and use the power from the moon. The most unique feature of such people is their silver blood, which is exactly the case for Lauma. It's actually genetic atavism, where descendants have ancestor features that was lost for generations. Lauma was one of the descendants of genetically edited Hyperborean citizens. There are still more questions to be answered. Why does the wild hunt only exist in Nod Krai? Does the Fatui really have the right to rule over Nod Krai again? To know further about Nod Krai history and more hidden stories in Genshin, please subscribe to this channel for future content. In the next video, we'll talk about how a Kinria people brought abyss disaster to Nod Krai, and the story of how a young Snesnean noble, together with a Munchanter of Frostmoon Scions, built up the organization of the Lightkeepers.